My dear Wormwood, yes, courtship is the time for sowing those seeds which will grow up 10 years later, into domestic hatred. The enhancement of unsatisfied desire produces results, which the humans can be made to mistakes, for the results of charity. Avail yourself of the ambiguity, in the word, love. Let them think they have solved, by love, problems they have, in fact only waived or postponed under the influence of enchantment. While it lasts, you have your chance to ferment the problems in secret, and render them chronic. The grand problem is that of unselfishness. Note, once again, the admirable work of philologic arm in substituting the negative unselfishness for the enemy's positive charity. Thanks to this, you can, from the very outset, teach a man to surrender benefits, not that others may be happy in living with them, but that he might be unselfish in foregoing them. This is a great point gained. Another great help, where the parties concerned are male and female, the divergence of the view about unselfishness, which we have built up between the sexes. A woman means, by unselfishness, chiefly taking trouble for others, and man means not giving trouble to others. As a result, a woman who is quite far gone in the enemy's service will make a nuisance of herself on a larger scale than a man, except those who are farther, has dominated completely, and, conversely, a man will live longer in the enemy's camp before he undertakes as much spontaneous work to please others as a quite ordinary woman may do every day. Thus, while the woman thinks of doing good office, and the man of respecting other people's rights, each sex, without its obvious unreasoned, can and does regard the other as radically selfish. On top of these confusions, you can now introduce a few more. The erotic enhancement produces a mutual complaisance in which each is really pleased to give in to the other wishes of the other. They also know that the enemy demands of them a degree of charity which, if obtained, would result in similar actions. You must make them establish, as a law, for their whole married life, that degree of mutual self-sacrifice, which is at present sprouting naturally, out of enchantment. But which, when the enchantment dies away, they will not have charity enough to enable them to perform. They will not see the trap, since they are under the influence of the double blindness of mistaking sexual excitement for charity and of thinking that the excitement will last. When, once a sort of official, legal, or nominal unselfishness has been established as a rule for keeping of which their emotional resources have died away, and their spiritual resources have not yet grown, the most delightful results follow. In discussing any joint action, it becomes obligatory that A should argue in favor of B's supposed wishes, and against his own while B does the opposite. It is often impossible to find out either party's real wishes. With luck, they end by doing something that neither wants. While each feels a glow of self-righteousness, and harbors a secret claim to preferential treatment, for the unselfishness shown, and the secret grudge against each other, for the ease with which the sacrifice has been accepted. Later on, you can venture on what may be called the generous conflict illusion. This game is best played with more than 2 players, in a family, with grown children. For example, something quite trivial, like having tea in the garden, is proposed. One family member takes care to make it quite clear, though not in so many words, that he would rather not, but is of course prepared to do so, out of unselfishness. The others instantly withdraw their proposal, ostensibly through their unselfishness, but really because they don't want to be used as a sort of a lay figure, on which the first speaker practices petty altruism. But he is not going to be done out of his debauch of unselfishness, either. He insists on doing what others want. They insist on doing what he wants. Passions aroused. Soon, someone is saying, "Very well then, I won't have any tea at all." A real quarrel ensues, with bitter resentment on both sides. See how it's done. If each side had been frankly content for its own real wishes, they would all have kept within the bounds of reason, and courtesy, but, just because the contention is reversed and each side is fighting the other side's battle, all the bitterness, which really flows from the thwarted self-righteousness and obstinacy, and the accumulated grudges of the last 10 years, is concealed from them by the nominal, or the unofficial, unselfishness of what they are doing, or, at least, held to be excused by it. Each side is, indeed, quite alive to the cheap quality of the adversary's unselfishness, and of the false position into which he is trying to force them, but each managed to feel blameless and ill-used itself, with no more dishonesty than comes naturally to a human. A sensible human once said, if people knew how much ill-feeling unselfishness occasions, it would not be so often recommended from the pulpits. And again, she's the sort of woman who lives for others. You can always tell the others by their hunted expression. All this can begin in the period of courtship. A little real selfishness on your patient's part is often of less value in the long run for securing his soul than the first beginnings of that elaborate and self-conscious unselfishness, which may one day blossom into the sort of thing I have described. Some degree of mutual falseness, some surprise that the girl does not always notice just how unselfish he is being, can be smuggled in already. Cherish these things, and, above all, don't let the young fools notice them. If they noticed them, they will be on the road to discovering that love is not enough, that charity is indeed needed, and not yet achieved, and that no external law can supply its place. I wish Slump Trumpet could do something about undermining the young woman's sense of the ridiculous. Your affectionate Uncle Screwtape.